Welcome back, everybody, to the back nine coverage of round 4 of the 2021 Discraft Green Mountain Championship, presented by Upper Park Disc Golf. I am Brian Earhart, joined here one more time by Nate Perkins. Nate, the regular season is coming to a close. We have the Match Play Championship and the Disc Golf Pro Tour finale coming up, but this is it. It's been great.
It's been really great, Brian. Honestly, man. I love sitting down here in front of the mics, watching disc golf to close out my day or start my day.
It depends.
Depends on the weekend, but to close out the evening, one last back nine. Paul McBeth just shot 6 down on the front, and look who he's battling with, Andrew Presnell, for that podium spot. What a great tournament by Prez. Here we are, hole 10. Honestly, another softball hole out here. 315. There's a little OB right, little OB long, but this green is sloped. Perfect little backstop.
I think running the ace is the play here, especially with the line that Paul's going at it with. Ooh, that was really high, though.
That completely left his hand.
Yikes. He is out of bounds, and I don't even know what the spot is going to be.
I don't either. What a hole to take your first blemish on.
And it's funny you even say blemish, because even if he makes his circle 3 putt, that still feels like a blemish on this hole.
It's nearly a par 2.
And Brad also throwing his outside of circle 1 as well. This looks like a better line. This looks like a lot better line. Yeah, 2.44 average. This is right in the wheelhouse for any professional disc golfer that has somewhat of a serviceable sidearm. Alex throws a decent one as well. Yep. Inside circle 1, putting for birdie. And Paul takes his spot.
Ooh, he's just outside circle 2 even.
Wow, that early, huh? Okay. 70 feet. No way! What? I mean, yeah, that's one way to take a 3 on this hole. Nice catch on that strong side, too. Goes through the back side of the basket. Okay.
It's so direct. He is definitely one of the best distance jump putters that we've ever seen.
Okay, and Brad also cashes one from about 36 feet. Give us that Gatekeeper rewind. OB and nothingness behind the basket.
Scary putt. Definitely, if it hits on, if you miss right, it hits on hyzer, they like to roll, and then they like to roll out of bounds at the bottom of that hill.
Oh, and Alex missing high, getting big putted by the past 2 players there.
Tough stretch of holes there for A-Russ.
Yeah, he's gonna take a par on 10 after being 20 feet away. Marwede getting his birdie, moving into number 11, 600-foot par 4. Depending on the wind, you can get way up this fairway. You can push this stone wall and have a long downhill look for eagle. We saw Chris Dickerson throw in for eagle the last time we came here.
Yeah, the closer that you get to the gap, the slower you get to throw your approach, and the less likely you are to find that OB long.
And Brad just having this subtle hyzer flip up to flat. And that was absolutely a bomb. He's going to be looking down that gap. Yeah, distance really matters in this hole because, like you said, That shot coming into the green is really kind of bizarre. And you want to be able to come into the green with something pretty simple. Andrew also putting a good flick out there.
You really trust that sidearm. He's been riding it through all of these top 10 finishes over the past month and a half, 2 months.
Ooh, and look at this little hyzer flip from Paul. That is large. Let's jump back. This is a controlled, subtle hyzer flip from McBeth.
A little pop in his step right there. Just kind of bounces up and down on his toes.
Yeah, he is on his toes pretty much the whole time. One of the few players that...
Yeah, him and Kale LaVisca are two that I think that are really on the balls of their feet. Is
Anthony Barella's another player that comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah, he has such a smooth rhythm. We were talking about Chris Dickerson's rhythm the other day. McBeth is someone with a really smooth rhythm. Alex also throws a great one out here. A little bit shorter, but he's got a sidearm from where he's at. He's going to be putting for birdie from there. That was a little bit of tree love there.
We're still planting trees, right?
I hope we are.
I didn't see it pop up, so I'm just... We can make the executive decision to
I'm going to make the executive
one.
decision
Okay,
as well.
Good.
Because that was a nice little kick off that tree.
Yeah,
Here's
look at
Paul
this. Going
jump
putt.
putting. Come on. I have heard Paul McBeth's Lunas that he's putting with, I have heard are around 170 grams. So they're not max weight.
A little more float.
Yeah, a little bit more float. I heard Germ also putts with little lighter P2s.
So many jokes pop up into my head when you tell me that, but I'm just going to refrain.
Large man, tiny putter.
I love Germ. He probably would not refrain, though. He would just let it go.
And yeah, must be nice to jump putt your second shot in this hole because Paul has gotten himself another birdie. And after hitting a 70-footer uphill on hole 10, he might have that momentum right back.
Yeah, 7 under par through the round. Best we've seen him play all week. All right, hole 12, 700 feet. It's about 375 to the front of the first fairway. And somehow it's 450 to the basket. It's barely uphill, but it's always a bigger shot than it seems.
Yeah, this placement is extremely crucial on this first shot. Distance is really not a problem. There's just these little micro patches of flat ground you have to find. And Brad has put one to a solid spot. Might be a little farther back, so that second shot might be a bit of a bomb. Okay. This is looking really good. He's going to have a long turnover to the basket from there.
Just didn't quite get the pop on that one. It's going to be a little short and pretty out of position.
Oh, yeah. Andrew popping a backhand out here. And he rolls up that hill. He is going to be on the flat surface. And from here, Alex is likely thinking that a par feels pretty good. This is a long ways from the basket, especially for a sidearm. Brad fading a bit off to the left. He is going to have a bit of a putt, but it is going to be inside circle 2. Let's see if Andrew can get a flick all the way there.
Yeah, this is big.
Yeah, a little subtle hyzer release. If he can get a flare, that is huge, man.
He has to have one of the most audible forehands. You hear it every time.
The snap coming out of his hand.
Oh, and Paul's actually a little out of position.
Oh.
Flex.
No. I thought he was going to get a flat and a little bit sooner.
I thought it was going to stable out as well.
Wow, that was almost a really technical line. And just faded into the out of bounds. Alex is going to have a pretty stress-free par there. Long circle 2 look. And throwing a flick hyzer like 5 feet off the ground all the way across.
He's a stud.
Yeah,
I definitely play this game, and you know he is really dialing everything in at a great time. The USDGC is a tournament that Andy Marwede has a lot of stake in.
Oh yeah, and it's a course that historically they made to challenge the righty backhand turnover.
I mean, we've got a guy on this card, Alex Russell, who actually holds the current course layouts course record at 15 under par at last year's major. And, you know, they have a similar skill set.
Absolutely. And I would say that Andrew has more distance on the sidearm right now. So, yeah, it's going to be an exciting finish to the season. That is for sure. Paul hitting a circle 4 putt. And this is Brad for a par. Hole number 13 is 360 feet. You have the reference point with this telephone pole. Right when you cross that, you want to start fading softly into this little section of trees. Decently close to a stock shot. You need a little bit of forward momentum. A little bit of late fade. And that actually might not be too bad if it gets a skip. And he is going to be about 25 feet away from the basket.
That was about as wide as you can take that hyzer.
Yeah. stay off those power lines. This is coming in really nicely. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Smooth shot with the T-bird.
Oh, that was a T-bird.
Yeah.
I really like that disc selection for this hole. You'll always get a nice soft landing.
Right up and over that wire.
Okay. Paul even closer to the basket than Bradley.
Wow, he's putting together a round.
Yeah, like you said, this is the best we've seen him play overall in a long time. His putt, his drive, everything is looking like it's coming together.
Hey, Russ with the CTP.
I really like his putting stroke.
That little
It
rhythm
reminds
that he's got
me
going
almost
on.
of Ricky's in a weird way.
Little micro movements with his legs and stuff.
Yeah, and just how it kind of comes and has that little up and down trajectory. It's not flat straight at the basket. Lot of green on this last stretch of holes for our players. Brad also taking a solid birdie, as does Paul, and here comes Alex Russell tapping in the CTP.
Nice work, guys.
Yeah, great star frame. And we begin the home stretch.
Hole 14. Little OB right. Little OB long. Very protected green here. A lot of times players like to swing the hyzer in wide, but you do risk that roll away outright.
It happens more than you think. You're seeing a lot more players do what Andy is doing. Playing to be a little bit short left and at least give themselves a putt. And like you said, I've seen that power aggressive hyzer hit the base of a tree and roll violently out of bounds. Yeah, Brad also opting to go straight, but look how much that dropped.
Yeah, that was a weird little air bounce.
That's good height. And he didn't want it to roll OB, but he is going to be putting from a pretty obstructed lie, I believe. Yeah, this is a tricky little 315-foot hole.
Is that all it is? Is 315?
Yeah, I think it's uphill more than we think. The canopy creates this little ceiling. There's all these little obstacles that make it a tougher tee shot than meets the eye. And obviously the wind is not helping either. Oh, no.
No. That
He
is
is-
just a tragedy.
He's getting some horrible rollaways this week.
Okay, so he's just going to re-putt it here.
And that was with a stroke penalty. having to take the re-tee. That's awful. That stinks.
That flew off the brim.
But that's also the nature of these courses. It seems like every basket is on some sort of ridge or hill that's so subtle, yet the moment you hit off the bin or the top with any angle,
that just kills him right now. I mean, he's been playing great. He's sitting in fifth right now.
That's a double bogey. Just like that.
Happened so fast.
Oh no, that just flopped right out of his hand. You saw the headwind.
Yeah, just got a little timid in that
getting
headwind.
Into his head. That's an awful feeling. And here we go. We start kind of this last stretch of the course. Hole number 15. We're back in the woods. Tight gap. Not really any holes like this on the course. Completely submerged in the woods. Sidearm is the play here. It's a very tough backhand turnover. Paul going standstill sidearm again. He's really liking it. Okay. That's another park job for Paul. He's loving that standstill sidearm.
He really is. I'd love to pick his brain on that. See if it's something that he's going to continue with, or perhaps was just out of rhythm in the week and decided to shift it up in the moment.
Yeah, I feel like that was it. I mean, it might just be like a rhythm thing, like you said, and the standstill sidearm kind of brings him back to that intuition mindset.
He's definitely throwing something a
it's
little
faster.
Yeah, and kind of flippier, right? I mean, he threw that on a gentle hyzer, and it just flipped up and rode around the corner.
And a really solid looking forehand from Andrew. That is parked. He has a lot of shots that are starting to look just automatic for him these days. We have a few players like that on tour where they're you would call them sidearm dominant, but they have a good backhand. But their bread and butter is just the slow driver chip shot forehand. Like Alex, Andrew, Nate Sexton. Paul moves to 30 under par. He's tied for third place with Andrew Presnell, who is also coming down the stretch. And he knows that Paul is tied with him right now.
Andrew is definitely checking the scores.
Oh, yeah. And he usually plays well here. Presnell has routinely done well at these courses.
Ouch. Missed 10-footer on the last hole and then 3-putt here on 15.
Yeah, that is a couple of wheels coming off the bus. You hate to see it, too. He was throwing the disc so well.
It's just all the work you do all tournament to set yourself up for this finish. I mean, he's just a few strokes out of the top 5.
If I need to get up and down in a pressure situation, I'm grabbing the AVRX3 every time. When you can connect the visualization of the shot that you're trying to throw with the feel of the disc in your hand, that's really when magic happens. I can trust throwing the disc as hard as I want or as soft as I want to do exactly what it's supposed to do. Like the AVR is the best putter of all time, the AVR X3 just might be the best approach disc of all time.
All right, hole 16, 700-foot par 4, playing as the second hardest hole at Fox Run. You've got this 350-foot dead straight tunnel, some undulation in the fairway. You've got an OB wetland that separates this second fairway, and you have to be in the perfect spot to consider attacking this green.
Yeah, the footing on this fairway is really hard to get right.
Wow.
And he goes straight down.
Gosh, you hate to see that. I hope he's okay. That's about as big of a slip as I've seen. And I have noticed at the front of this tee pad, most players are actually teeing off 3/4 of the way up because the front kind of slopes back down.
And it is so, he got so lucky on that.
He just went around that tree.
He got, I'm just going to say, I'm not insulting in any way. He got so lucky on that shot. You saw that his last step was timid. You could tell he was afraid of having what happened to Paul happen to him. But that ended up being a huge tee shot.
Yeah, that was that FD that he's been throwing all week.
He crushed that thing.
And he actually loves the Discmania plastic. He's still putting with the Glow D-Line P2s.
All right, let's see if Brad can bounce back here. This is a tee shot that sets up very nicely for the shots he likes to throw.
He's going TL3 here.
Oh, and he slipped as well.
These can bounce out into the middle. Oh, and it does not.
Okay, Paul's...
He's in a bad spot. I think he's just going to lay up to the mouth.
Yeah, I thought that shot went way left over the stone wall. And that's a frustrating thing to happen. Paul's just going to send his up to this
He just
tee
set
pad.
that on the tee pad.
Yeah.
That's exactly where he was aiming. You know, the short shots like that can be just as impressive as any distance shot.
I fully agree. Feel and touch in the sport of disc golf are always going to be something that's challenged.
And I hope that they continue to remain a big part of it. You know, sometimes at these Pro Tour events, you see driver off the tee and then driver into the green.
Yeah.
And we miss that 150 to 200 foot upshot distance where people can really start to get creative.
Yeah, and we're already starting to see players that are routinely looking to throw in from those distances, and that, to me, is really special. And this is Paul for a really phenomenal up and down. He needs this to get left. And he does.
Kind of straightened it out a little bit. Gonna have a circle's edge look. And it's pretty close with Andrew and Paul now. I believe they're tied at 30 under.
And you're talking about Presnell.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that.
And
FD again. Backhand into the circle for Marwede.
this guy's leveling up. This guy has leveled up. I can't even... it's hard for me to even say that he's forehand dominant anymore.
Yeah, after his round yesterday at Brewster.
Yeah. That is not an easy course for an all-righty sidearm player. He showed us that he definitely has the chops. And Bradley with just a picture-perfect putter shot. And this is for a great par save. he's feeling that one.
Huge birdie. Just
Awesome.
doubles
birdie.
14 and then goes park job 15. Great birdie on 16.
And Alex is still tied for 10th. He hasn't had that stellar of a round, but he's stayed steady. And he's still fighting for that top 10 finish with 2 holes left. And it's crazy that even with bogey on 14, 15, par 16, Brad Williams is still tied for 7th. He's still playing fantastic golf. Number 17, 385, OB long, sloping downhill towards more out of bounds. This is a tricky hole to be the second to last hole in the course. Blind shot. Got to trust the wind, trust your disc to fade out of sight. Oh, and he's stuck it. Another backhand he's executed so well. Like, look at this throw from him. His head's forward. His extension is really good. His timing looks on par with everybody else that's throwing top-tier backhands. You love to see it. Alex Russell.
Great shot. This is just such a tough hole to get a read on. You throw it too high, it can stall early. You throw it too low and straight, you can find the OB right.
And there's just so much open space out in front of you. You know, it's a very disciplined hyzer that you have to practice over and over again. Come on back. Oh, yeah.
Curls into the circle. These putts can be tough heading downhill like that. Especially if you're not hitting your putts like Brad over the past few holes.
And Paul puts a good move on this one. Does he get the skip and roll? Gets it to about 25 feet.
A lot of chains. A little high, but
Another circle one putt missed.
yeah, back to back. Hey, we got the woo from the other card. I heard it.
That's one woo for this card. Start the counter. Alex taps in a nice birdie from about 20 feet. He's now tied for 8th place. Staying steady on the top 10. Hunt as Brad lines up his putt as well. It's another birdie. 3 in a row. We have one more hole left, and he's in 5th place again. He has just been playing phenomenal. We're going to see him fighting for the lead at one of these big events and take it down. Guaranteed.
All right, hole 18. One of the most beautiful holes that our sport has to offer. Just expansive views of Mount Mansfield in the background and a very intimidating tee shot. You've got OB right that you have to swing out over. Then you have OB left on the road. Again, really tough to kind of get a proper wind read on this hole.
I feel like this is moving a bit too far to the left, but okay, he's stuck in the middle of the fairway. He's about 3 feet from the out-of-bounds line, and that's actually a fantastic spot to be.
Yeah, especially for the forehand player.
Alex has thrown this really well.
I love how he kept it low. And look at that. Even with as low of a trajectory as he had, he still got that skip and flare toward that left OB.
Yeah, and what's interesting is this grass is so lush, too. It's interesting to see these discs get the reaction off the ground. This one is heading for the out of bounds. And his final tee shot has skipped into the parking lot. He is out of bounds pretty far back. And Paul is in solo 4th right now. He needs a birdie on this hole for the podium finish.
It's a good start. Great shot. Oh, this is huge.
What? Where is he going?
Just over everything. What?
No,
And
no,
it
no, no, no,
rolls-
no. Sit down.
You kidding me? Hits the base of the basket?
I've never
was like-
seen anybody take that line
That
on
was-
a second shot.
That's probably
That was awesome.
440 out, playing longer over those trees.
And this looks good if it slows down.
Come on.
Oh, stop rolling. Oh, the slow roll of death.
It really hurts to watch a disc roll that slow, OB.
And he's going a bit more stable, a bit lower.
And he's going to have that for 4 in a row to close it out after that tragic double OB. Or double bogey, excuse me.
Paul also going forehand off to the left side, and he has stuck it. That's going to be his birdie. He's going to put some pressure on Presnell to finish. And regardless, he is taking a par.
That's a tough finish.
Yeah.
After throwing a huge shot and nearly having the tap-in par.
You see him tied for 3rd place there. 30 under par. Presnell just has to take a par, and he is tied for his best finish at a Pro Tour so far. Alex taps out an unfortunate bogey to finish, and that will do it for the 2021 regular season on the Disc Golf Pro Tour. We have the Match Play Championships and the Disc Golf Pro Tour finale coming up soon. But there you have it. Chris Dickerson fighting off Ricky Wysocki in an absolute thriller of a finish in the MPO division.
What a tournament.
It's been a phenomenal week here in Vermont, Nate.
It's been great. I'm going to miss it. This is my favorite stop on the tour. Anytime anyone asks me where my favorite place to play is, I always mention Brewster Ridge.
Come play disc golf here. Come take a trip to Vermont. Come take a trip to Jeffersonville.
And make sure to follow my man Brian Earhart on Instagram. Brian, what's the handle?
It's going to be Brian_Earhart. Lots of disc golf content, podcast content. Nate.
Perks of Disc Golf.
Perks of Disc Golf, folks. We will see you next time. Thank you again so much for tuning in.